Hey folks, Eric Bray, Focus Fishing Guide Service. Got another video fishing report for you for Table Rock. It is Tuesday, January 7th. Been out on the water quite a bit. Caught them pretty good over the weekend, kind of slow today. I guess, a couple days after the front, bluebird skies, whatever. They just didn't seem to bite nearly as good today as I did over the weekend. As far as our lake level is concerned, we are at 916.05, which puts us about a foot high. And I did just see the guy moving the boat dock here at Old 86. So that tells me that they expect the lake to come up. We do have a lot of rain coming in this weekend. Thursday, Friday, they're saying 1 to 3 inches of rain here, a lot more to the east. Sorry, everybody over at Bull Shoals. But they are still dumping beaver. Beaver's still a little bit high. They've got the gates open and all the generators running there. We still have generators running here. But we are catching a few fish. As far as our water temperature, we're still pretty much right at 50 degrees. I've been down here at the dam the last few times, and really I'm seeing between 49 and 51. Was up to White last week and did see some 52, 53 in the afternoon, but for the most part we're right around 50. And then up the James, pretty much the same thing, upper 40s. I imagine if you get far enough up the James, you'll run into some colder water. But for the most part, we're pretty much right around 50 degrees all over the lake. But if you guys are coming down, say you're going to fish the lower end of the lake, still best bite we've got going is deep with either the Jewel Scuba Spoon or the Rapala Jigging Rap. Most of the fish we are catching right now have moved into the creek arms. You've got to find shad. If there's no shad around, we're really struggling to get bit. Most of the fish are in that 40 to 60 foot range, over 70, 80, 90 foot. Really, the overall depth doesn't matter. It just really depends on where the shad are in the creek. Best thing I can tell you is just kind of follow the creek channel back in there till you find the shad. And once you find the shad, you will get bit. There are fish hanging around, and it's a mixed bag. I mean, we've caught some really nice largemouth, some smallmouth, and mostly Kentuckys, but we are catching a mixed bag back in there doing that. There are still a few fish being caught on an A-rig. Most of those fish have been on steeper banks, bluff end type stuff, steeper secondary point type stuff. Everything's around trees. Most of those fish are suspended around that 20-foot range, so you're going to throw it out and let her sink down till you get around 18, 20 foot, and then just slow roll it in. Are catching some fish doing that. Stickbait bite's still not great. We are catching a few on it. I think we need this water temperature to drop. Probably wouldn't hurt if they shut the current off too, so the shad could move up a little bit shallower. It seems like most of the shad I'm seeing are at least 30 feet deep, if not deeper, and I think that's really affecting the stickbait bite quite a bit. And the crankbait bite hasn't been great. Last week or so, I think we've only had 2 or 3 fish on crankbait, and neither of them are anything to get too excited about. Go up into the mid-lake area, same deal. Most consistent bite is deep, with either the Scuba Spoon or the Rapala Jigging Rap. Have been catching a few on a Damiki rig, but not a lot. Most of them are in the creek arms. Some of them are right in the mouths of the creek. Some are about half to 3/4 of the way back. Again, you've got to find shad. If you find the shad, you will find fish and you will get bit. So it takes a little bit of investigation. Today, they weren't in a couple of the creeks I caught them in over the weekend. We went into a couple other creeks and boom, we found some shad and caught some fish, but it took some investigating, it took some searching to find the bait and find the fish. A-rig is working in the mid-lake area as well. Same sort of deal. Bluff ends, bluff pockets, steeper points, steeper secondary points. A lot of fish coming on the A-rig. Most of them, again, are suspended 18, 20, 25 foot down over top of whatever, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70 feet. It doesn't really seem to matter. The main key is to have some timber around. If you've got standing timber, you can catch them on an A-rig. Just like down here, the stickbait bite really has not kicked in yet. Have been catching a few on the Megabass Vision 110+2 up around Kimberling City, around standing timber, but it's really on those cloudy, windy days. It seems to be the best days to throw a stickbait right now. Not really catching them on flat, sunny days. Just can't seem to get bit on it. I think once they get this current situation rectified and we get the shad moving up shallower, we'll start catching them a lot better on a stickbait. Did catch a few on a jig last week in the Kimberling City area as well. Both the the Pee Wee football jig and the Pro Spider jig. Seemed like the Pee Wee football jig were almost all smallmouth, and most of them were 18 to 25 foot deep on gravel mixed with rock points, mostly on the main lake. And again, this was a cloudy, windy day that we caught them on it. I'm really not catching that many out on the flats and out on the points if it's sunny. It seems like when it's sunny, those fish are backing way off. Did catch them on the Pro Spider jig, though, around some boat docks on a sunny, calm day. Deeper boat docks, though. Most of the fish are 15, 18 to 25 foot deep on these boat docks. Throwing Okeechobee Blue primarily, a little bit on Bass Whacker, matched up with a speed craw and really hitting the shade and working it slow. I'm not really hopping it. I'm pitching it back in there. If I don't get a bite on the initial drop, I'm working it really slow along the bottom to get bit on that. Go up into the James. Better jig bite up the James. Most of the fish on the jig up there have been on some of the steeper channel swing type banks, either on the main lake or in the creek arms, the bigger creek arms. Ants Creek, Woolly Creek, Piney Creek. You can catch a few on a jig up there. They are a little bit shallower up there. Most of them less than 20 feet deep. Most of them relating to ledges or wood. Again, throwing the 7/16 Pro Spider jig, Okeechobee Blue, Bass Whacker have been the two best colors, matched up with a speed craw or matched up with a finesse craw. But I'm not really loading the boat, but I am catching some better quality largemouth on a jig up there. A-rig, if I were going to fish the James, I'd probably go up with an A-rig, and that'd be my number one bait up there. Caught quite a few fish on an A-rig when I was up there last time. Again, they're relating to steeper banks, though. They're relating to either bluff ends, bluff cuts, steeper points, steeper secondary points. You got some of the creeks up there have got some fairly deep timber on the secondary points, and that's really what I'm looking for with the A-rig. And the fish up there aren't quite as deep, so you don't have to let it sink quite as far. Seems like most of them are in that 10 to maybe 18 foot range, not quite as deep as 20. I'm sure if you have a day like today where it's sunny and not a whole lot of wind, you'd probably have to go a little bit deeper with it, but I'm still throwing it out, letting it sink down and just working it fairly slow over top of those trees to get bit. Catching some better quality doing that too. I go up in the White River. I was in the White last week a couple of times. Deep bite is really strong in the White River. You're going to have good days and bad days, just like anything else, just like down here. But we did catch them deep on both the Rapala Jigging Rap and the Jewel Scuba Spoon. Most of them are deeper than you really expect them to be. They're out over 75, 80 foot of water relating to either a creek channel or the main lake channel. We did catch a few on the main lake up there this past week. Not a lot, but we caught a few on the main lake, and they're fairly deep. Again, you got to find shad. If you can find shad in the creek arms, you're going to get bit. You're going to catch fish. If you're going back into creeks and you're following all the way back to where it gets to 50 foot deep and you're not seeing any shad, you just need to bail on that creek and go to another one. That's really kind of been the key. Don't waste a lot of time if you don't have any bait close by. If you've got bait, pretty good chance you're going to get bit. And I'm really looking anywhere from about 120 back to about 50, 40 maybe. The shallowest is where I'm looking for these fish to be. A-rig bites pretty strong up there too. They are a little bit deeper, just like they are down here at the dam and in Kimberling City. Most of them are in that 18 to 25 foot range around timber. Again, I can't stress enough how important it is to fish around timber with the A-rig to get bit. I'm really not catching anything just on barren open banks unless it's a windy, cloudy day, and then I'm catching a few smallmouth, throwing it up on barren banks, but those fish are still fairly deep as well. Jig bite was pretty good up there too. Caught some fish on the Jewel Pro Spider jig around on ledgy type banks, mostly on ledge type banks. They're going to be 18 to 25 foot deep, some a little bit shallower if you get a cloudy day, but throwing the Okeechobee Blue, throwing the Bass Whacker matched up with a speed craw. I didn't load the boat, but we did catch a few doing that. And then the stick bait bite, I really, once we get the water down into the 40s consistently, around the mid 40s, I really think we're going to start seeing a better stick bait bite on the Megabass Vision 110 or 110 plus 1 and plus 2 and the mixed stick. threw it a little bit last week, caught a few fish on it, but nothing to get super excited about. Nothing that, you know, I'm going, oh my gosh, you got to go throw a stick bait right now. I think we need the water to cool down, need the current to slow down a little bit, and I think we'll start seeing a lot better stick bait bite up the White and all over the lake. And crankbait bite's kind of disappointing. Went up into the Kings. Oh, I forget what day it was last week. Went up the Kings and threw a wigglewort, rock crawler, and curve 55, and I think we caught 3 fish, and not one of them was a keeper on a crankbait. So crankbait bites can be kind of disappointing, at least for me. I'm sure guys are catching it on it, but haven't really caught them on a crankbait since probably the first or second week of December. Guys, it is the new year. Happy New Year. I think I might have said that last week, but Happy New Year again. The fishing's been good. Fishing's been good. I mean, we're catching quite a few fish. I mean, we had a slow day today. I think we had about 14 or 15 fish, but we still caught some fish and had a good time. You know, guys, if you're coming down, you want to learn how to fish deep, man, now's the time to come. I want to learn how to fish an A-rig, now's the time to come. The A-rig bite will probably get better as the water cools. Stick bait bite, you know, we got to get this water to cool down a little bit, but, you know, you want to learn how to throw a stick bait, we can go out and do that. But, you know, if you want to come down, want to learn some techniques, now's the time to do it. We got the lake to ourselves, weather's not bad, you can kind of pick and choose your day, because I'm not booked every day like I am in the summertime. But if you guys want to come down, want to hire a guide, give me a call. It's Focus Fishing Guide Service. You can reach me at 417-860-4743 or hit my website, focusfishing.com, and either shoot me an email, book online. Either way, I get back to you as soon as I can. Guys, thanks for watching the videos. If you haven't subscribed yet, please take a minute to subscribe. But thanks for watching. Can't wait to hear from you. We'll see you on the water.